Sanford police have faced criticism for not arresting Zimmerman sooner and said there wasn't enough evidence to do so. Zimmerman says he shot Martin in self-defense. So joining me to discuss these latest developments in the George Zimmerman case is defense attorney Janet Johnson. Janet, first of all, what do you think about the critics questioning the closeness with police, you know, noting that he worked so closely with these officers as part of his work with the Neighborhood Watch program, the chief of police? Is that problematic for him?
It's not problematic. It contradicts what they said, which is they didn't know who this person was, which clearly they did because he had an application where he disclosed his criminal history. He didn't have any convictions, but they still let him be a ride-along several times. And Benjamin Krupp, who represents the family, the Martin family, he said from the beginning, there's some insider trading going on here. These people were giving him preferential treatment. And he looks like Mr. Zimmerman had more than your average interest in the police. And that kind of goes along with this idea that he might have been acting like a vigilante.
But could that complicate his defense?
It complicates his defense because what you have to show and stand your ground is that a reasonable person would have done the things that he did. And if Mr. Crump and the state attorney now are saying he didn't act like a reasonable person, he acted like someone who was profiling Trayvon Martin, and some of that is the training that he got in these neighborhood watch meetings where they talked about how to profile your neighborhood, to keep an eye out on people who you don't recognize. That did lead probably to some paranoia, which might have led him to follow when 911 said don't follow him.
Well, we just heard, too, I mean, there are such differing opinions from him within an 8-month period. First of all, we just heard his disgust after that ride-along with the police officer. It sounded pretty scathing. Does that paint him as a wannabe cop, you know, being so critical and so disgusted with what he saw?
It does. You know, he was a criminal justice major, so obviously he has a very strong interest. And he said in his application to do the ride-along, he wanted to make sure that he really did have an interest in the criminal justice and law enforcement. So he actually, I think, was a wannabe cop. The flip side is, though, that the reason this meeting was held in Sanford was that an African-American homeless man had been killed by a son of somebody in the sheriff's department. And he apparently was very upset about that. So his family's saying, you know, he spoke out because he's not racist, because he thought the police were acting against this black man when they really shouldn't be covering up. And he said there was corruption in the Sanford police just because of that.
Well, and then we have 8 months later, in September of 2011, him talking about the community volunteer coordinator saying she went above and beyond to help launch this neighborhood watch. And Zimmerman actually called her a testament to the highest level of professionalism of the chief's administration. I'm wondering, does that help his case? Does it show, specifically because he mentioned the fact that there had been a spike in robberies and home invasions in his neighborhood within the past 2 months. Does that show people why he might have been on alert, that there was cause to be suspicious of anyone?
It does. You know, the whole neighborhood watch, and he's obviously proactive in his community. But again, that cuts both ways. Is he profiling people? As Angela Corey, the prosecutor, who I've known for 18 years, she practices in my division, she's actually said, look, he was profiling people who he thought looked like criminals. And in the end, we know Trayvon Martin wasn't a criminal. So I think it does cut both ways, but he was actively trained and involved in their neighborhood watch program. And that was part of the discovery that Angela Corey released, which said, you know, look around your neighborhood. But it also made a point to say, do not go after people. Don't try to apprehend suspects, which in the end, I think the prosecution's going to say that's what he did. He went above and beyond.
All righty. Hey, Janet Johnson, defense attorney, we appreciate your insight so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.